Hello everyone. In this video, I want to show you how you can split a screen into equal sections. You can do it either in halves, in quarters, or in thirds. And depending on what kind of monitor you have, then it's gonna you can do it different ways. So before we start, let me tell you or show you what some of the key commands we're going to be using. For instance, when I tell you to use your window key, this is the key that I'm talking about. And when I talk about left, up, right, and bottom arrows, these are the keys. Now, some of your arrow keys might look like this, okay? And it won't be with like a comma or a period. It'll be somewhere in this area, but they might look like this right here. This particular keyboard. Oh, here, I'll tell you what. Um, and before I go, I'll show you on my keyboard, but let me close here. Some other commands that I will be using is your window and your F4. Yours might look different, but this is the one that we're going to use, the F4, okay? So, and as far as what I was talking about earlier, yours might look like this right here. See this and this? So the keyboards, they all look different. Now, don't get those mixed up with your keypad. So the keypad doesn't work. So now, there's going to be 3 ways that you can accomplish what we talked about. One of them is by dragging a window, by using your arrows with the Windows command, and the other one is called split screen, and it's a bar at the top of your screen that you don't see it unless if you have a window open. So let's start with drag. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to open up 4 windows. Okay, so there's a lot of ways of doing it. I use a lot of commands, so you can do it the way you want. Open up 4 windows. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to hit window, and I'm going to hit, while I hold my window down, I'm going to hit E 4 times. That creates me 4 windows. Now, they were created right on top of each other because I hit it so fast. Now, if I would have taken my time, hit Windows E, it would have put in the first window. And then I would hit Window E, it would have moved the window, and so forth. So now let me show you how to split your windows using the drag method. So you see this bar right here? To move this window, I would have to click here. And the first one we're going to do is we're going to split this screen. One side will be a window and the other side will be a window. So to do that, let me show you the 4 areas that you would be grabbing this, and you follow your mouse, not the screen. You're going to follow your mouse. One of them is going to be on this upper right hand corner. That'll give you a quarter split. The other one is going to be on the upper left hand corner. Then you got one at the bottom left hand corner, and you got one at the bottom right hand corner. If you bring it here, it is going to give you a one split down the middle vertically. Same thing here. If you move it over down here, it's going to give you the left corner. And if you bring it all the way up here, it's going to fill up the whole screen. So let's go ahead and first left click and just drag it to the upper right hand corner, and you see how it's split into a quarter. Now, since you split that one, and if you don't click away from anything at this point, while you see this windows being highlighted, if I start clicking on this windows, it's going to start filling them up equally. So I'm going to click here, then I click here, and then I'm going to click here. You see how it filled those windows equally, that's because I didn't click away from it. Now, so let's say that there's a lot of ways to close in a window. What I'm going to do, instead of clicking here, you can even double click here and it'll close it. Or you could single click here. Now, the way I do it, when I hit my Alt key and my F4, I don't care if I have a window open, a document open, a photo open, is whatever I have open, either it's going to close it immediately if there's no changes made to that document. If you were working in a document and you hit a space or you hit anything, you make any kind of changes, then it's going to alert you that you have to close it. I mean, save it or close without saving. It's not just going to let you close it without that. And if you continue holding the Alt tab, the Alt F4, it'll go all the way to where it tells you, do you want to shut the window? Do you want to shut the computer? Okay, so let's do it slowly. So if I wanted to start with this one here and I wanted to shut it, I would select that first one. I'm going to hit my Alt F4. It automatically shut it. Now, if you notice, this one changed into a color, right? I'm going to hit, well, you know, it's kind of blue here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but, and the other ones are kind of gray. So now I'm going to do that Alt 4. Remember, this one is the one that's selected, so it will close this one. Now, this one is blue, so it's going to close that one. And then, of course, that will be the last one. And then, so there's no, the only thing left that's open is my recording. And I don't want to actually activate that right now because then it's just going to make things kind of hard for me to explain later on. Okay, so now that's dragging. Oh, okay, so we did that in quarters. Now I'm going to show you how to split the screen in half. So I'm going to hit Windows E. Remember last time I hit Windows E and then I hit Windows E again, and it put those two, all those four on top of each other? It was because I did it so fast that the machine automatically stacked them on top of each other. This time, I took my time. I hit Windows E, then I hit Windows E. I paused a little bit, then it puts it in different areas. So I'm going to do it again to show you what I'm talking about. You see, it just randomly puts them out there. Okay, I'm going to close this one. Remember, Windows F4. Oops, the wrong key. Windows F4. Not Windows. What a dummy. Okay, Alt F4. Okay. I hit so many commands that cancel. Okay, so remember, we dragged to the up right hand corner, and since I didn't release it, it automatically put everything, split everything equally. Now we're gonna do two windows split right in the middle. So if I click here and I go right, follow your cursor and try to get right in the middle, you see it shows you what is going to cover. What you see great, you know, it's a feather. If you release it, it'll fill it to that. Now, look right here. Remember last time it broke it down into 4 screens? Because I didn't click on anything else. It's just telling you that, hey, if you click on something, it's gonna fill this area here. That's why it's highlighted. So if I click on this, it filled it in. Okay, so now you know how to do your quarters and 1/2, and that is using the drag method. So let's go ahead and close those windows. Okay, now I'm going to show you using arrow keys. So if I hit, I want to do the same thing, open up 4 windows. Okay, now I have this first one highlighted. If I hold my window key and hit my up arrow, it's gonna fill the whole window. Okay, so window up arrow. Oops, I keep on hitting my fingers are hitting the wrong thing. Windows up arrow. Okay, if I window right arrow is gonna split it right in the middle. So I'm gonna hit, oops, window right arrow. You see? Now it's showing you that it's gonna fill this next one if you do not deselect, or if you don't click on anything else except the next window, it will automatically fill it here. So I'm gonna click here. Now I got 2 windows. So now let me make a mistake and accidentally deselect it after I do my first half, and this would work the same on the quarters or the thirds. There's ways to split the window in thirds too. So let's go ahead and kind of move those windows in an ununiform manner. So I'll put this one here, and then just so that you know what I'm talking about not clicking off of something. So I got this window, and uh, I'm gonna Windows right click. It takes it to the front. Now you see it highlighted this, so if I click on any window, it's gonna put it here. But if I deselect or don't select any window by just clicking here, you know, I didn't click a window, right? So when I click on this window, it's not gonna split it, because you had the opportunity to split the window prior when it showed you what it was going to do. So I want you to understand, depends on what your actions, the next action, it makes a difference. Now you can still, while I selected it, I can hit window left arrow and it's going to split it. Okay, so that's splitting it in half. Now let me show you how to split it in quarters. So I'm going to window, right click, and then um, Windows up arrow. That gives me that window, right? Now look at the screen. If I start clicking on any of those folders, it's automatically going to fill it uh, according to, first it'll fill this one, then it'll fill this one, and then it'll fill this one. But I don't want to do that. I want to do it using the arrow keys. So I'm going to click away from it. I'm going to grab the next one. I'm going to Windows, oh, excuse me. Okay, Windows left arrow, up arrow, and that fills it in the corner. Equally, let's say that I wanted to split it into 3. This thing is telling me right now I can split it into 3 by only selecting any one of those windows, and what it's going to do is going to fill it to this area that we're talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that so that you can see what I'm talking about. So if I click here, it automatically opens it up. Now you have it split into 3 equal sections, but that's not what I wanted. So I can get this. Actually, I could have done it right where it was, but anyway, I'm going to hit my Windows right arrow, and then I'm just going to hit my Windows down arrow. And you can do this real fast. I mean, it only takes seconds. I use a 27-inch monitor to my left. I have my 15-inch laptop which is in the center, and then I have another 27-inch monitor on my right-hand side. Remember, the machine is telling you right now If you click on another folder, it's automatically going to fill it here. But that's not what we want, because I want to do this using arrow keys. So I'm going to click away from it. Then I click on this. I'm going to Windows, left arrow, down arrow, and there's your screens. Okay, now we're going to do the last step. I'm going to show you how to split the screens without using arrows and dragging it to the corners. And it does take some practice, so don't be, man, I'm telling you, you learn how to do this. And if you're like a guy like me that uses a lot of windows and monitors, this is real helpful. Okay, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, well, the easiest way to unscramble it, the easiest way for me to do is just go Alt and just close the windows. It only takes me a second to do it that way. And then all I got to do, remember, if I hit Window E, it'll put the first window. If I give it a second, then when I put Window E, it doesn't put it right on. Well, it did on that time. Um, so it's creating four windows right on top of each other. Okay, now you don't see, there's going to be a little bar right here that shows up. If I put the window down here at the bottom, nothing, you don't see it. As I go up at least 3/4 of the way, look in this area up here. Okay, so watch what happens. So I go up right here, you see that little bar? If I go to that bar, then you see those four little splits. The first split is a split in the middle. Okay, the second one is a you can split it a third of the way on the right with a third on the, excuse me, on the left, and a third on the right. The next set is right down the middle with a quarter on the top and a quarter at the bottom, and then the last one is you have the four. So let's go ahead and split this in how many do I have? Four. So let's go ahead and do the first one. So I'm gonna, this first window that I have open, and now look, so whenever you move in this, if you move it down, it kind of goes away, but don't worry about it. Okay, it's still there. And then you just move it over, and you got to learn how to not to go too far, or too far, because you will lose this. If I keep on going on my uh, selection, we'll lose that. And I'll show you. You see, it disappeared, right? So you got to go back, and then now we're just gonna use the first one, and then we'll grab. Now remember, if I click any of those windows right now, it's gonna start splitting it, and I don't want to do that. So what do? Is I click away so that we can get the next one, and then we'll go up here and we'll go on the upper right hand corner. Okay, we'll let go. Again, I don't want to select a folder because it will start splitting it for you, and I want to do this manually. So I'll click on the next folder, go up to the split window, and then and you see how it's kind of moving around. It's not gonna be that bad on yours. The reason it's doing it to me is because I'm recording, and anytime you're recording, it does some weird stuff. So last thing, we're gonna go up, and then we're gonna, oops, I went too far. No big deal. You just go up and just go down a little bit, okay? And then, boom. You could also split it into thirds, and let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's close that one, and I'm going to do three. So Windows E 3 times, okay? And that time it didn't put it in there. So I mean right on top of each other. So I'm going to grab the first one. I'm going to go up here, and this time I'm going to put this one on the left hand half part of the screen. I'm going to grab. Don't click on the windows if you don't want to do it manually. But for this time I'm going to do it, so it just automatically do it. So I'm just going to click here. Now when I click on the next one, it automatically fills it in. When you're working with a bunch of monitors, it's going to work the same way. So once you're selecting those other monitors, I mean, you can do some, you know, you'll get to the point where you want your monitors selected a certain way. If you watch my next video, it'll have the same name as this one, uh, but that one will be with 3 monitors, so you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to show everything that we showed, uh, but I'll show you how to use 3 monitors. I guess that's all I really wanted to show you. So now all you have to do if you get tired of the windows, you're just going to hit your Alt and the F4, F4, holding the Alt down, F4, boom. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and I hope I see you in some other videos.